Hi, my name is Brooke Frohlich, and I will be presenting Smile and Wave, the effect of demand characteristics on the facial feedback effect. The facial feedback hypothesis states that an individual's facial expressions influence their emotional experience. For example, smiling may cause you to feel happier, and scowling may cause you to feel angrier. However, replication of this effect has been inconsistent, and one explanation that has been suggested is that these effects are not real, but are driven by demand characteristics. Demand characteristics are cues in a study that make participants aware of the study's hypothesis. Then, the participants adjust their responses to fit the hypothesis of the experiment and what they believe the researcher wants to hear, rather than on genuine emotional report. In order to investigate this, we performed a pre-registered study to determine if demand characteristics can increase or decrease the facial feedback effect on happiness and anger. For our project, we had 3 primary research questions. The first was, can we replicate the facial feedback effect? Does posing happy expressions cause people to feel happier? And does posing angry expressions cause people to feel angrier? Our next 2 research questions have to do with the effect of demand on facial feedback. Do a participant's positive expectations increase facial feedback results? And conversely, do their negative expectations eliminate these results? As previously stated, facial feedback literature has yielded mixed results. In 1988, the seminal pen and mouth study by Strack, Martin, and Stepper found a significant facial feedback effect when asking participants to hold a pen in their mouth to replicate a smile or pout. However, other researchers have failed to replicate this result using the specific pen and mouth design, while others have succeeded. When using other experimental designs for facial feedback, such as in the Kaiser and Davey study in 2017, they found that when controlling for awareness, facial feedback effects disappeared. Specifically, these effects were only found in people that could actively name the hypothesis after the experiment. Based on these mixed results, we decided that rather than control for demand characteristics, we would try to manipulate them to determine its effect on the facial feedback effect. For our study, we created a 3x3 mixed design manipulating pose within subjects and expectation between subjects. We had a robust sample size of 250 participants, mostly freshmen from the University of Tennessee and mostly female. Then we analyzed our data using linear mixed effects modeling. Here you can see a chart of our experimental design that shows both what the participants were told about the facial feedback and the directions they were given in order to manipulate their facial expression. Before analyzing our data, we first wanted to ensure that we had successfully manipulated demand characteristics. In order to do this, we measured the participants' awareness of our interest in the facial feedback hypothesis and how much they believed that the effect was real. For awareness, we indeed found that those in the positive and negative expectation conditions were more aware of our interest in facial feedback than those in the control conditions. This shows a successful manipulation because the participants that were told that we were studying this hypothesis maintained that awareness through the entire experiment. Another way to measure this was if the participants believed in this effect. We found that participants in the negative expectation condition believed the least in this effect, and conversely, that those in the positive expectation condition believed in it the most. This shows that not only were participants aware of our study, but that our hypothesis had successfully influenced their beliefs. For our first result, we found a facial feedback effect in every condition. This is specifically significant in the control condition because this experimental design was most similar to other facial feedback studies. For our second result, we found a significant increase in emotional reports in participants that were told that the facial feedback effect was real, particularly higher levels of happiness when smiling and anger when scowling. This shows that demand characteristics can successfully lead to an increase in emotional report. Conversely, participants told that the facial feedback effect is false reported lower levels of emotion. Again, lower happiness when smiling and lower anger when scowling. However, we did find a significant facial feedback effect in this condition. If facial feedback was only driven by demand, we should not have found a significant facial feedback effect in this condition. Based on these results, we can confirm that facial feedback is not driven by demand characteristics, at least not completely. To conclude, we found a significant facial feedback effect in the control condition, which shows a successful replication of previous facial feedback studies. Additionally, we found that demand characteristics can have a significant effect on these reports, both in the positive and negative directions. However, by finding a significant effect in the negative expectations condition, we can confirm that the facial feedback effect is not completely driven by demand characteristics. Thank you for listening.